Thank you very much, and thank you, Sohail, for that introduction. And I want to thank PTAC and Sohail in particular for the opportunity to speak with you today. We're going to switch gears a little bit in terms of what this presentation is focusing on today, and we're going to talk about the power of networks and collaboration and how different organizations coming together, whether they be in industry or whether they be in government, when they work through collaborative processes, the impact is powerful. And we've seen some grassroots collaboration take place over the past year, and I'd like to go over that with you a little bit. Networking and collaborating on research is critical, and there is a lot of that going on in the environmental sphere. My area of focus today is going to be on the economic development piece and how we have a magnificent opportunity in this province to leverage the extremely knowledgeable expertise and sophistication, technology, hardware, and service expertise we have in this province and make it globally available. So again, thank you, Sohail, for this opportunity. So first definition, unconventional resources. We want to make sure we're being clear on what we mean by that in this context. And for us, that means refers to tight resources such as shale gas, tight oil, and that requires a combination of innovative production and techniques to extract. We all know, obviously, that Alberta's been very fortunate, being Canada's energy province, to have a huge, rich, unconventional resource endowment. So approximately 3,900 TCF of unconventional gas in place in 15 different rock formations in this province. Massive. We have a strong provincial regulatory and policy framework that continues to adjust and work to get things right. Continuous improvement in the industry on environmental performance, and we're working hard to get that public acceptance of energy development. Alberta is also one of the largest refining and petrochemical industries in this Canada, with modern world-scale plants, and there is enormous potential to provide further refined products and petrochemicals based on our unconventional resource feedstock. So Alberta has extensive technical expertise, and many of you are in the room. Over 178,000 wells in Alberta have been stimulated using hydraulic fracturing since the 1950s, and over 8,900 horizontal multi-stage fracturing wells have been drilled since 2008. And compared to our neighbors in the south, we have some difficult operating conditions in Canada. Obviously, we have to adjust to those, and that's forced us to be more innovative and focus on productivity to improve our efficiencies on operations. Horizontal wells that only 5 years ago would have taken 45 to 50 days to drill can now be completed in about half that time. And it's through the collective effort through industry, government, research organizations like PTAC that Alberta becomes a global leader in unconventional resource technologies. And we're seeing the results. And in 2012, crude oil production increased 13.8% over the year previous, 2011, reversing a decades-long trend in decline, largely due to horizontal wells and fracturing. But our industry is also faced with many of these challenges, and these are not new to you. Total gas wells completed in Canada dropped from 16,000 in 2005 to 1,400 in 2012. And even though in recent months the natural gas sector business environment has improved due to the increase in price, the industry still faces many challenges. We have limited domestic market demand for gas. We have small and medium-sized companies that are having difficulty funding their exploration and production activities, as well as sustaining the much-needed research and development in key areas. And at the same time, we have strong competition in the U.S. For example, the U.S. government, I don't know if you know this, but takes leadership in helping U.S. companies expand their market reach internationally through such programs as the Unconventional Gas Technical Exchange Program. Other industry challenges we see include insufficient commodity export infrastructure, harsh weather, and remote locations, as well as obviously the high labor costs and shortage of skilled labor. But it's not all lost. There are tremendous opportunities. If we build on our strengths to address these challenges, there are abundant global opportunities that await us. In 2013, according to the EIA, technically recoverable reserves equated to 345 billion barrels of world shale oil and 7,300 trillion cubic feet of world shale gas resources. But there are significant global demand for these resources, and there's significant global demand for the technical expertise, the service, the supply, the regulations, and the policies that accompany them. And such expertise, if we know it or not, is almost exclusively in the US and Canada. So this is a huge window of opportunity that's open to us right now. Our opportunities also include increasing the use of natural gas as a feedstock for the downstream industries. So what's at stake? If we do not pursue such opportunities, our share of the world unconventional resource market will be lost. We would not only bypass a chance to diversify our markets, but also miss the opportunity to strengthen key value-added sectors in this province, the energy service and supply sector. We will miss out in a lifetime opportunity to develop Alberta as a world centre for unconventional resources, technology and innovation, and for energy processing. Future energy investment is also in risk if we cannot collectively address both our environmental and cost challenges. And this translates to lost jobs, opportunities to broaden or diversify our economy, not only provincially, but it has a direct impact on the entire country. And the economic impact could be significant. As an example, Alberta gas royalty revenues dropped from $8.4 billion in 2005 to less than $1 billion in 2012. The unconventional resource industry impacts the whole energy supply and value chains and affects all Canadians. And that is why we need more and more collaboration on unconventional resource development in this province, including a forum like this one. And I want to thank the leadership and entrepreneurship of PTAC for setting this up. So on that note, I'm really glad to introduce to you a joint government and industry initiative to address the challenges and capture the opportunities in this sector. Our department, Innovation and Advanced Education, leads Alberta's Unconventional Resource Industry Development Initiative. It's a collaborative effort of government, industry, towards sustaining unconventional resource sector with global market reach that broadens our economic base for the prosperity of the citizens of this province. And our mission is to build on Alberta's strengths in energy resource development, work collaboratively across government and industry with other stakeholders to support the continued and sustained growth of the unconventional resource sector. So who are our partners? We have a wide array of partners within the Alberta government, in industry, and the federal government. I want to mention specifically Canadian Society for Unconventional Resources, and I thank Dan Allen for being here today. Mark Sakil, the PSAC's president, I believe, is here today as well, and obviously Sohail from PTAC are here. There may be representatives from EPAC as well, and a variety of private sector companies are associated with this initiative, along with our friends in the federal government and the education and technical institutions that we are working with at this point in time. The strategic frame for this initiative is aligned with one of the most crucial goals of our government's strategy of broadening our economic base, both for economic diversification purposes, but also building relationships and opening new markets for our province to solidify our hold as a world center for resource-based and resource-related industries. The unconventional resource industry priorities including mapping and strategy development, developing Alberta's resource potential through people, technology, reserves, and value chain, as well as promoting and matching industry capabilities that we have to global opportunities. These are just a list of some of the projects we currently have underway. So the Alberta Sector Summit series is one that engages Alberta industry leaders as well as the province's political and public service policymakers in a discussion of strategic opportunities on challenges and opportunities in our sectors. I'm pleased to announce that the next summit will focus on the unconventional resource sector and is planned for November. Sohail's going to talk to you about the PTAC Talk Tap initiative later, which really is identifying industry needs and searching for technology solutions and laying the foundation field for demonstration and implementation. And we are currently undertaking a study mapping the unconventional gas resource industry in the Cardium Play to identify opportunities for regional players and businesses and communities. Some things that we often neglect is the fact that this industry has a huge impact in rural economic development in this province as well. We'll be looking at a project that's going to be completed this summer that's going to work with the Canadian Society for Unconventional Resources and the Alberta government that will estimate the recoverable tight oil reserves in Canada. We've developed an investment guide with all of our partners to establish a one-stop shop for information on the energy sector and its investment, environment, and opportunities. And we're currently surveying 2,500 companies working in this industry to better understand industry competitiveness issues and populate an export readiness database. And that should be released sometime this fall. Over 25 projects have been identified as part of the initiative going forward, and more will be added as appropriate. One I want to talk to you about is the China Shale Gas Opportunity and Challenge Report, which highlights opportunities and challenges for Alberta's service and supply sector in China in shale gas development, and we're doing this in partnership with PSAC. And there was a seminar organized earlier this year to report on the industry findings of this report. We're developing an environmental innovations guideline book and directory, and that was just released this month. I'd encourage you to check that out. As well, we're continuing to work on our series of unconventional resource guidebooks and directories. We've also partnered with Canadian Society for Unconventional Resources on putting an Alberta desk, an Alberta government desk in that organization to ensure we're strengthening our collaboration between government and the unconventional resource industry. The Global Unconventional Resources Scan identifies the top markets for Alberta's service and equipment supply companies in the unconventional resource sector outside of the US and Canada, with detailed research and analysis and wide consultation of government and industry stakeholders, and that's scheduled to be released this summer. The Alberta Energy project team conducted a multi-criteria matrix analysis of 20 different countries, and highlighted in green are the top 10 countries identified by this project. The study reveals the potential for Alberta companies to expand their markets of oil and gas service and supply and strengthen the role of the province as a global center for technology, service, and manufacturing. Incidentally, the top 5 countries identified in the project are Australia, Mexico, China, Russia, and Argentina. As highlighted by the findings in our draft report, 2 Alberta government departments, in partnership with the Export Development Canada and the other agencies of the federal government, jointly organized a shale gas mission to Brazil and Colombia last November. We had 10 Canadian companies participate in the mission and gave presentations at 3 different seminars to full house audiences in those jurisdictions to promote Canadian expertise. The mission was very well received, feedback from both participating companies and hosting countries, and many of these companies have now gone back to those countries on repeat visits, and some companies are currently in business discussions directly with clients or through consultants. While so many high-impact projects have already been completed or are underway, it's hard to believe that this initiative was only started a year ago. Launched at the grassroots by government in cooperation with industry, it soon got buy-in from many stakeholders. It's a highly collaborative project, and the result is a close partnership amongst various stakeholders needed to meet a pressing need, and it capitalizes on our real entrepreneurial nature in this province. It sets a real model for meaningful collaboration across organizational boundaries and is focused on reaching specific goals and having a greater impact. So I would like to thank PTAC today for the opportunity to present on this initiative, and I want to really point out the leadership and drive behind this initiative is one Miss Nancy Wu of my team, and I'll ask Nancy to stand up. Her leadership has enabled this whole project to get off the ground and growing, and the team that works in behind Nancy. So if you are more interested, I'd encourage you to talk to Nancy or some of our team.